people ask me a lot of times, just how do you even solve this problem? And the reality is one that a lot of people don't even know that what is going on, that these girls are so young and are so vulnerable, but because they feel like they're in love with their pimp, even if they do get arrested or if they do get found out, they're going to lie about it because the pimp is the only one that they feel like loves them, and they know that he is going to take care of them in some convoluted way. But that's why they'll keep going back to him, because that's their safety. That's where they know they can survive.
I think there are opportunities for mission, opportunities for ministry and service, because there's hurting people around us. So I think we need to think about how can we be servants especially to the poor and to the hurting. They're found right in our neighborhoods, right in our communities, and oftentimes I think they're invisible to us, or we turn a blind eye. And the church is included in it. So I'd like to talk about how we could start opening up our eyes to the poor around us, and see how we can start to talk about some strategies and how we can engage, not just as individual efforts and not just occasional sporadic efforts, but as a sort of way of life, and as a congregational life.
The idea of being missional is to be incarnational, to be Jesus alive in a different environment. We think about Jesus of Nazareth. People identified him as a individual from Nazareth. He had an identity, he had a culture, but he was incarnational. He was Jesus, God alive in that environment. And so when we're missional, we're incarnational, we're Christ among them. We're bringing our Christ likeness in the environment that we're called to be in. And in that very idea, we're bringing the presence of Christ into our business environment, our government environment, wherever God has us.
I think there are three main things that we want to do in this conference, and the very first thing is we want to inform. And a lot of times we learn about Jesus and what he's done in outreach and mercy when he was here, and we try to look at our context and try to understand what that means for us, and what does it mean to heal the leper and to take care of the widow. And then we see our complicated city structures and how homelessness is a lot more complex than we thought it was, and there are a lot of things that come into play, and we want to be able to inform and dialogue about these things. And people say it's better than to feed a man a fish, it's better to teach him how to fish. But then what if the pond is overpopulated? What if there's pollution that comes into the pond, and what if that pond is no longer a viable option to fish? And so there are structures, and there are structural injustices and things like that also play into it. And so these are things that I feel like we want to dialogue with, and informing is the very first thing that we want to do. And the second thing that we want to do is mobilize the church. And we want to be able to get the hands and feet of Christ going, and understand the different kind of opportunities there are, and encourage people, because mercy is really scary for a lot of people, and for all of us. I think it's something that we're nervous about, and so we want to be able to encourage and mobilize people, show them there are opportunities, and network people, and just to really see how is it that the church is the body of Christ, that you're an eye and I'm a hand and you're a foot, and we don't have the resources that you do, and what does it look like when the body of Christ actually starts moving together. And that's the second thing that we want to do. And the last thing that we want to do is we want to support the people who are mobilized, and we want to be able to keep them accountable, give them more resources, open up more networks, and we want to do more things to be able to support long-term, long-lasting, sustainable mercy. And sustainable mercy is something that all churches have had a hard time trying to do. And so these are three things that we're trying to accomplish through this short conference. So yeah, I hope you join us, and I hope that your church is mobilized to reach God's people.